Hey, this is Davidson from Revocation, and you're watching Loudwire. So the first riff I ever learned as a kid was Aerosmith's Walk This Way. I was obsessed with Aerosmith when I was younger. My mom got me a guitar, got me lessons. I started studying with this guy, Jay Williston, and he taught me the intro riff. Yeah, I loved Walk This Way as a kid. It had that cool, groovy drum intro, and that first riff just really caught my ear. So after studying with Jay for a while, I feel like I was making a lot of progress. He definitely got the ball rolling. And then eventually I kind of broke off and then just started studying on my own, just learning my favorite rock riffs. AC/DC Back in Black was one of them. I think that's one of the best rock riffs of all time, super iconic. As I started getting into more technical styles of guitar playing, of course, I started getting into heavier bands. Megadeth was one of them. I think Rust in Peace is one of the best thrash metal records of all time. And I remember learning the intro riff to Lucretia, and that was really inspiring for me because they were using like major arpeggios, which I wasn't hearing too often in thrash metal, but they made it just sound super progressive and epic. In my teen years, I was just on the path of brutality, I guess, just searching for heavier and heavier bands. So, went from thrash metal, got into death metal. When I found Death, it was just all over. They were super influential to me. We actually went as Death for Halloween one year and played a song off of every record. So I'm very familiar with the Death catalog. One of my favorite riffs is the chorus to Pull the Plug. Yeah, just very, very heavy, super menacing sounding. Just makes you want to get in the pit. So in my early years on the guitar, I didn't learn solos note for note. I would kind of learn licks here and there or certain techniques and then try to incorporate those into my playing. But when I started attending Boston Arts Academy, I had a great teacher there, a good buddy of mine to this day, Colin Sapp. Shout out to Colin. He taught me, a lot of jazz solos. We had to do jazz competitions, so we'd have to learn that shit note for note, and it was super challenging. But I learned a ton doing that. I learned a lot about phrasing. I learned a lot about technique, and obviously just the swing feel. So one of the first solos I learned was Wes Montgomery's 4-on-6. Yeah, I think that's the first time Wes Montgomery solo has ever been played on a Jackson Warrior before. Yeah, I love Wes Montgomery. Just an amazing guitar player, timeless. He had so many cool lines, so many cool ideas. And the fact that he was playing all that shit with his thumb is just mind-blowing. So all those different influences started filtering into the background of my musical psyche, I guess you could say. And before too long, I started writing riffs and formed Revocation. I think the very first Revocation riff I wrote was Summon the Spawn. This is many, many years ago. My parents' basement goes like this. Yeah, I remember being really stoked bringing that one to band practice. Some of my favorite Revocation riffs. Probably one of my faves live is Madness Opus off of Deathless. That intro riff, just super groovy. I don't know, kind of reminds me of like a Dying Fetus inspired riff. You know, it's slamming, it's groovy, it's heavy. Definitely gets the mosh pit moving. Another riff that I dig a lot is the verse riff on Vanitas off of the Outer Ones record. It's kind of more slow, more moody. It's got these like dark, like low arpeggiated chords that I think sound super cool. Those open strings, it's all kind of ringing together, creating this really cool texture. And yeah, I think it brings like an interesting sort of brooding feeling to that song. A lot of people know us for like the fast, thrashy, death metal-y technical stuff, but it's cool to bring that side of my playing to Revocation just to kind of show a different side. Speaking of fast, thrashy riffs though, one of my favorites is the ending riff of Communion. So now this brings us to the newest record, Nether Heaven. I think there's a whole bunch of cool riffs on this album. Of course, I'm biased. But here's a few of my faves. This is the bridge section to Diabolical Majesty. A lot of riffs I'll have like weird cycles where, you know, you'll feel a certain part of the riff on a certain part of the beat, and then when it comes back around, I kind of throw you like a curveball just to keep it like a little bit more interesting. And you'll hear like in the drums too, like Ash will like hit those changes and just make that riff pop in kind of like a different way. You know, it might slip by you in the first listen, but you know, I think my goal is like the more you listen to it, the more little Easter eggs you kind of find like in the riffage. So next up is the trem-picked intro riff to Recrucified. People have asked me before about my trem picking. I think it's just one of those things that's always come naturally to me. But this one's definitely tricky because it's so fast. Definitely a workout for the picking hand there. Finally, I'm going to play one from the intervening abyss of untold aeons. Say that 5 times fast. This is a cool like blackened death thrash riff. It's got some like jangly higher string parts, some cool like dissonance going on. Yeah, it's just like super aggressive and really driving riff. Thanks so much to Loudwire for having me. I hope this was fun and informative. I hope it inspires you to learn some of your favorite riffs. Make sure you check out the new record, Nether Heaven, coming September 9th.